from the void never bark. Movie shows, they tear apart. Dimensions clash, they ignite the spark. Couch debates, turn the volume up. Set the chaos, overflow the cup. Alien worlds and twisted scenes. Banter spreads like electric dreams. Outer dimensions ride the wave. Trying days set flames ablaze. Discussing bits and cosmic plays. Beyond the stars they find their praise. They find their praise. Ripping through the deep.
Hey guys, welcome back again to the Outer Dimensions podcast, guys. Welcome back again. It is your brothers of Deconstruction, Dre and Dave. Once again, guys, we are back. We're back talking about some of these shows we've talked about in the past, but we're talking about shows that we both think deserve another shot, maybe a little updates, 20, 30 years later. I mean, let's be honest, everything is all about hashtag revivals, reboots. Let's just cutting up that horse and finding some more meat to just drag out of it. But guys, by the way, I do apologize. I am a little bit under the weather, so if I sound like like that kid who just wiped his nose in his jacket all the time in grade school, I'm going to be sounding like that.
So it sounds like I'll be doing more talking today, which is funny because I just came literally back about 30 minutes ago.
More talking.
I know, we do more talking, and I just came back from playing 5.5 hours of Dungeons and Dragons. So I've been talking a lot. So geek alert, I have a sign that proves it.
But guys, as always, a father, a YouTuber, an educator, a lover of all things Sentai and anime. It's the one true tribal chief of the Outer Dimensions podcast. It is the Dre the Geek Dad. And if you guys are not following him on his channel, he has a brand new podcast. In addition to this one, he's got podcasts coming up the wazoo. Literally. He has his Dre the Geek Dad channel, his father figures, right? And of course, he's got Cultura Pop on the weekends with him and Tats and Toys. So please go ahead and check them out. They just had the Latin Legions on here last night.
Yes, we did.
You guys definitely want to check out. It's always an amazing blast for them. So go ahead and check them out. Follow Dre the Geek Dad. Dre's on a mission this year. We need to get him some subscribers, guys. Help him grow out his content. It's always positivity.
So I'll borrow Dave's little thing because he was the one who put it out there. He put a challenge out to everybody. And the challenge was to get to 300. So my goal was by December 31st, prior to New Year's, going into 27, I would like to have 1K. Dave gave you guys a challenge. I'm going to set that challenge to be by October 1st to get to 300. So yes, it is a large leap. I want to see if we can get to 300 by October 1st. If we do, there might be something fun. I don't like giveaways. I always feel like that's buying your subs. I hope you come for the contact.
He's going to shave his beard. He's going to be completely bald.
Oh, hell no. I can't. Peanut would never recognize me. She'd be like,
look,
too weird.
You look like a baby.
Yeah, I do. When I've shaved it once, but I will do something. Maybe we'll do like a watch along. We'll do something fun. I promise. Maybe Dave and I will 3D print something. We'll come up with an idea. I'll fund it with it. We'll do something.
He says we 3D print, he means me.
Yes, Dave and I. But we are also doing something else, which we'll talk about at the end of the show when we cover that. But yes, we'll cover that more. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yes.
But this.
You guys know me.
Oh yes, please.
I'm a dimension hopping, pop culture loving, Ghostbuster 3D printing enthusiast from the flip side. Dave's Dimension, as always, guys. But we're going to get right on into this. Really?
I can see you do it.
You got to be careful because Sokoa almost got hit.
That's true. Are you okay? Everybody get shot.
They got T-shirts with that now. People are making T-shirts.
I need that T-shirt. For anybody that's not watching Wrestling Solo, Sokoa, who is a official member of the Samoan Dynasty, they have a Metal Gear Solid T-shirt with him on the cover with Jay.
Oh, there's a Red Dead Redemption note.
And the Red Dead Redemption one. You need either one of those. I would love them both because they're hilarious.
But guys, we as every time we do an episode, we are deconstructing a few things. We've talked about shows that have we've talked about shows from 70s and 80s who have had reboots, like One Day at a Time, and many others. In fact, what's really weird is the Rockford Files are coming back with David Boreanaz,
Yep.
Angel, and Navy SEALs on CBS fame. He's coming back, bringing back the Rockford Files. I'm not too sure how that's going to work, but we're talking about animation, guys. So Dre picked these four, and I'll be honest, Darkwater, I wasn't really into it at the time. We've talked about Darkwater in the past, about like action figures and collectibles, but SWAT Cats, which featured a lot of voices from Ninja Turtle fame, Pops, you know, and of course the Bionic Six, which I mean, come on, Bionic Six was just the theme song, everything. I mean, come on, who didn't want to have those powers?
It was such a perfect time for these shows to exist, and this is part of a series Dave and I have always talked about doing for years. It came to a head when I started looking through, and the list was so lengthy of all the great cartoons and some of them have seen a small revival. DuckTales,
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck is apparently on the docket as well. Gargoyles is getting a revival,
Yes.
but those are like the 90s. I was trying to dip into like the golden age as the 80s,
late
and 70s.
mid to late 80s, yeah.
You know,
And I mean, come on, Dre is always about inclusion, right? Bionic Six,
adopted kids.
yeah, adopted kids, adopted African American and adopted Asian, part of the family, and obviously the daughter was adopted because I mean, come on, she's got blonde hair. Nobody, look at those parents; they ain't got no blonde hair.
No. Rock One and Sports One were their actual kids. It was IQ and Karate One that were the adopted kids.
No, but it always made me wonder. Like, wait a minute, she got blonde hair. Natural blonde. You think she's bleached blonde, or are you saying that
She's Rock One. She's a punk rock kid. She definitely bleached her. It was the 80s. She bleached her hair.
Yeah, but I wanted that bike that she rocked.
That definitely was. It was funny because when we get into this, we'll actually go into a little bit of things. But sadly, only one of these shows is even going to see the potential light of a possible revival. But we'll get. Yeah, I know. Sadly, but let's get into it. Hit the slide one, and I'll kind of get us the proverbial ball rolling. Obviously, the first one, probably the most iconic, and it's funny because you know how algorithms work, ladies and germs. We get to see these cool things, and they'll start. You talk about SWAT Cats, it goes in my search history, and now there's 3D files for the SWAT jet, which I think is absolutely awesome because I never had it as a kid. Sadly, when this show came out, I was already in high school. I still was a nerd anyway and a geek. I still played Dungeons and Dragons and loved all this stuff. But this is 93, so I was a sophomore, and it ended right in my junior year of high school, so 95. And this only had 2 seasons, 26 episodes. It was originally a hybrid Japanese anime studio that worked with an American studio. And but we're getting a little bit ahead of that. I want to talk about the merchandise because that's like I just mentioned it. I feel like I need to bring you guys in here. So Remco,
merchandising.
Exactly. If you guys remember Remco toys for us 80s kids and like, well, Dave and I are both late 70s, but we were babies at that point. Late 70s or 70s into the 80s, Remco was actually one of the big companies. They would be like Hasbro is nowadays or Mattel of the nowadays. And Remco was really big. And then LJN also had worked on some of their stuff. And and Playmates also later on, if I'm not mistaken, did some things as well. And it was very difficult for me to find any images of like what the Carl Jr. stuff looked like. I remember seeing the card back toys, and because some of it looked like 3D prints, some of it looked like what you would have seen, but these things go for a lot of money because this show was so short-lived. so short-lived, but such a great concept. And out of all 4 shows today, folks, this is the only one that we actually are going to be seeing a potential, because in 2022 there was a petition and a company that is now fighting for the media rights, and it's basically just in developmental hell. I feel like I don't want this to be like Marvel's Blade, RIP. I'd pour one out for Mahershala Ali in Blade, but
Even Wesley has said that. Like,
Wesley called it, and we only got one Blade. Well, there's only seemingly right now, as 4 years later, we're covering this. There's been no move on this website, and they've had tons of people sponsor to do this. Hey, look at my boy TG and my boy Tats. Great to have you guys. I mean, this SWAT Cats was just amazing. The 2 pilots were great. It was like the vigilante. It felt like a cartoon Airwolf.
oh yeah, I mean they were literally. I mean that's kind. I wonder if that was actually where it was based off of, because they were basically 2 mechanics that would jump into their secrets, their top secret jets. You had a little April O'Neil action with that one reporter, which is ironic because one of the guys was actually the voice of Donatello on Ninja Turtles. So I mean,
the skinny one, the skinny cat.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
the Donatello voice.
So I mean, that was the premise. They were just like these, their whole, like their civilian identities were just these 2 junkyard mechanics. But it was kind of like X-Men, where the ground would just open up. They had the jet, and the jet was like the coolest thing in the whole wide world. And they had the Batman, the solid white eyes going on masks. They were badass.
They had the hots for the mayor's secretary, because I remember she was like, because I think she actually finds out, like I think at the end of season 1, that it's who they are, and like keeps their hidden identity. It was always, because you got to remember back in the 90s.
There she is, right there.
Yeah, like you got to remember in the 90s, we always had a character, and if this is Mondo's concept, please do it. I would actually buy this if they made a 112.
Whoa! Did you hear that, guys? Dre's talking about purchasing.
Mondo makes. I had them. I only have 1 now. I used
Quality.
to have 3.
It's quality,
They're quality figures if they're 1/12 scale. Now, I don't want to go to their 1/6.
The 1/6.
Yeah, but I could have Batman. Batman was well done.
I wish I still had my Gambit, but that was chef's kiss right there.
No, I had Rogue and Gambit, and I had to get rid of them to fix my car. So, R.I.P. But when you look at what TG said. I love what he said. My man said, my ass is going to eBay right now to look up toys. You are gonna only find a few of the characters from what people said. A lot of the stuff is loose, and you're not gonna find a complete jet. That's what everybody says, that they've gone to 3D printers to recreate the actual SWAT cat plane.
Actually, this person made theirs out of Lego.
That's freaking dope.
That's crazy. And imagine if they did that as a concept, but you know how Lego is. It's all about the money.
Oh well, I wish. But I never had any of these toys. Again, this was Dave and I grew up, and I would even say TG and Tats have grown up in a time where we grew up in this generation of great Toys R Us, KB Toys, Child World for those that lived up on the East Coast. We had
That's what we had here. We had Child World. We had more of those. Child World, KB Toys. We did have Toys R Us, but for the most part, it was. Let's be honest. Toys R Us were like for the more well-off families.
Yeah, I mean,
we were all about Hills and Kmart, man.
Child World was, I think, was like a step down from Toys R Us because prices, they were more the budget-friendly family, but they still had great selections of stuff. But again, these are toys we're not going to be able to have, unless you hunt them down and really look for them. So enjoy spending about a king's ransom from what people have told me. I know people told them at shows, and they're expensive, but sadly, again, I wish that we would be able to have this comeback, because again, I would love to see it. I know that they've done teasers. People have tried to like talk about this. Let's just hope. That's all I can say. I mean, you can see all this cool stuff, and usually we don't talk toys, but this was one of those things that
On air, anyways.
on air, David, I don't do this. But the reason we did was because this was at the height of merchandising. This was the height of what you would see. And sadly, this was on TBS. So remember, TBS was, like this.
It was cable. And if you didn't have cable, you're out of the loop.
And sadly, they said that because of I don't want to say because around this time we had the Mortal Kombat controversy where Tipper Gore, I'm going to throw that name in there. Tipper Gore had the ESRBs came on the boxes for video games. That's why we had the rating for Mortal Kombat be mature. And that's where you started getting those.
They slapped it on everything.
Yep, it went on every piece of media. So now that's why they said this was too hyper violent. I don't feel the show was. I feel like you had G.I. Joe come back in the mid-'90s, and they were going after the cartels, and Captain Planet was on there, and he was getting blown up by fire and poison and toxins, but this show was too violent.
Whenever people were saying that, there's too much violence, I automatically flash back to Vin Diesel and Triple X3. Come on, Dick. This is the only education that we got. I mean, come on. Cartoons, come on. Let's be honest. Looney Tunes was more violent than half this stuff.
Oh, Looney Tunes is hyper violent. See, I would want a T-shirt. That's what I would love to do. And I totally agree. Like, I don't want to buy the toys, but... And Tats, you're completely right. The Toys R Us that's in Macy's are just like boutique. I do know that they said that they are testing.
A kiosk.
So I don't know how true this is. There are rumors that they are making a Toys R Us standalone store similar to the ones that are in California, that are in Canada, that they are going to do like 6 of them.
Dre?
Yes.
R.I.P. Toys R Us in Canada. They're shutting a bunch of them down. But
a media company stepped in and bought a few of them. So there are still brick and mortar. Yeah, there are still brick and mortars.
But they shut down there was a whole bunch in Canada. That's like down to like maybe a quarter of what they had, I think, at best.
Yeah, because now they said that it's going to be like in the store. They're going to sell more like DVDs, Blu-rays, and stuff, and music, and then they're going to do toys as well. So
media play, FYE.
FYE, which but we can bypass this. So sadly, this is one that I wish we got more to, but we'll see what happens. Next slide, Dave.
Motu, not to be confused with Motu.
Now, Dave said it. I love representation. I do.
Yes.
And to anybody that ever clips anything I say, I love it. It is needed because people should see other people in shows. It's how we identify with characters. It's how people identify with a book. I love Katniss Everdeen. If you read the Hunger Games books, if you watch Captain America, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Superman, Batman, whatever character, we identify with them because we find the characters relatable. And in Bionic 6, as somebody who is married to somebody who is adopted, and to have friends that I went to school with that were adopted, this was a cool show to watch because it gave us that flavor of characters. Yep. I think it was a great cartoon. It was sad that it ended in 65 episodes. It only did 2 seasons.
And the last episode was a complete the makers of the show completely just kind of flipping off the industry because it was kind of a parody of
they said it's Deadpool from what I was reading. It's like they broke that
it was fourth wall breaking. Yeah.
So for anybody that loves Deadpool, they said the final episode of the show, which I don't remember watching because this was 87. So this is like damn near 40 years ago. So we're talking 39 years ago. I do not remember what the ending of the show was. But when I read it, I said, wow, I would love to watch this and see, because I feel like it was one of those things, and just it boggles my brain that like they would go to the route that you would actually break into the real world.
Oh yeah.
And make it be like where the characters don't even realize that they're characters in the show. Like that's what the whole episode was about, from what I read. LJN made they were half plastic, half die-cast metal, which was actually a really big step away from what LJN was doing at the time, because I had those figures. Now, mind you, as a dumbass little kid, I took my toys into the water, so some of them rusted, and you know. But I remember having the whole team. I had the
van.
I had the van, and that was the only thing I had besides the monkey robot.
I never got any of them as a kid.
Well, I went to visit family in Florida, and every summer we would go visit my uncle that lived in Florida.
Monkey.
He would buy Fluffy. He would basically make up for a year of not
Fluffy,
seeing me.
But he wasn't Fluffy. That was the funny thing.
I know, yeah, Fluffy. But the only part that was Fluffy was the skin, the organic mouth. You know, but he would make it up and buy me the toy at the holidays or at the summer when we would go. So I had like the entire team. Like my mom and dad got me, I think, Mother 1 and Bionic 1, and then like Karate 1. My uncle bought me. I got the cars and all that cool stuff, but. Those were the figures. They were like 3 3/4 inch, if I'm not mistaken. They were the size.
I mean, that was the average size for figures back then. 6-inch figures weren't a thing really back then.
Yeah, or if they were for like little children. So like they did have like the LJN, because LJN did the larger wrestling figures, which were the plastic ones that were like 6 to 8 inches tall. So, and those were permanently like wired.
And I mean, if you look at this was kind of a take an established kind of a concept, because back in the 70s we had the $6 million man, Steve Rogers, not to be confused with Steve Rogers, Captain America, but and you had the Bionic Woman, and you know in the shows, and they did a bunch of TV movies, they actually got married together, and they did technically have a kid. So I mean, this is kind of like, okay, let's take that concept and let's adapt it to kids. And honestly, I think this is probably, for us who grew up in the 80s, this was the more memorable of those two franchises, basically. But, I mean, come on. How many of us did the fist to the wrist? Because, you know, you're playing Bionic 6.
Bionics on.
No, you had to do on.
Oh, yeah, you had to have the echo effect.
You know?
And, you can't go wrong with the show. Like, I remember, like, you had the ring, and it was just like Mother 1. Yeah. For whatever reason, Mother 1 was by far the most broken OP character, because she had telepathic powers. Homegirl had the ability to be like, and they never explained how she was basically like a mutant with cybernetics.
We're gonna RoboCop you, and you're gonna be like a Jean Grey.
Exactly. Know? What if we RoboCop Jean Grey, and like Karate 1, you gave a ninja cybernetics and made him faster and better.
I mean, you know.
Oh, they did break easily, yes. Because the hands didn't go complete, because there was no, obviously what we now know as butterfly joints. They literally just were like arm up, and then if you could get the hand, it would be about that far. Those things, yeah, they were. But, you know, again, it was the 80s. It was, I mean, what?
I think in the 80s.
Die-cast figures were a little bit pricey. I do remember that from what I was, just a little bit of research I did, those figures were a little pricey back for the time, because of the fact that they were a hybrid of like a plastic with die-cast. So, sports, when I remember he came with the little mitt and the plastic baseball bat. I remember that. Oh man, look at that. That's how you know you went to Child World. That other picture where you can see the pegs, where they're all on the peg. I'll never forget that. And the box. Like this, folks, we're hitting you in the nostalgia. That's what we do. If you want to see all more modern shit, go watch another channel. When you watch us, we're bringing it back to when we were kids and remember it. Like I said, 39 years ago.
Dr. Scarab.
Yeah, he was creepy. Like he was a weird villain.
Well, yeah, they give him the red lips to make it look like he had like lipstick, and eventually, Dre, I don't know if you remember later seasons, like he made kind of a clone of himself as a female so he could have a mate.
Yes, I do remember.
And then like that, she kind of went the Rita Repulsa route.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where like if he's Zed, she was, or I should say, they went the Lord Zed route where, the new evil character is now trying to take over. And and those that don't know, Scarab was actually the brother of the scientist that made the Bionic 6 bionic. And it was a weird. I mean,
So I want to address one thing that Tat said. That is on our docket to actually talk about. We'll probably mention it in a couple weeks because I literally got back home, like Dave knows, like 30 minutes ago. So Lanterns will be something we will mention briefly, but I have not watched it. Dave made.
Dre has this coming.
Yes.
Dre's got his ring coming.
I'm excited. I'll be rocking it on stream. Yeah, get the wedding ring on one hand. I gotta have my lantern ring on the other, my power ring. So, but yeah, this show, you can put the thing back up. Sadly, this show just ended, and it ended. Like there were comic books done by Marvel apparently during that time, because Marvel did some of these IPs where they would like buy the character IP and they would do, from what I was reading online, but there is no plan to ever do anything else. They said they ended it the way they ended it and left it. I think that if we were to see this done as a modern day reboot, it would be a lot. I think it would be better. Well, that's comic book art done by modern guys.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like in the time period it was actually done. They actually did make like comic books. And like I said, if I can't find them, but they did like these style, like the books you would have seen at the book fair when we were kids.
Yeah, like this right here, super picture book right here.
Yeah, well, we would call graphic novels now, or picture books, because those are the way because in Japan those were a big thing.
$92.64 for this.
Look at that. For pictures of posters, 11 posters, $92. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, good luck. Oh.
That's too much money.
It's crazy. It's the range. It's insane.
But now, if you guys ever wanted to think about this, like I said, SWAT Cats is the only one that people actually were like ranting and they're foaming at the mouth to have back. We all are. This is one of those shows that they said it ended, and like Dave and I were talking about, it ended with a fourth wall break. That fourth wall break being the
because if I remember the last episode correctly, Karate and what was the black guy's
IQ.
Name? IQ. Okay, so they go to, there's like, it's kind of like a con where like the illustrator and creator of a show was talking at this big like public little public setup, right? And it just turns out that his show was canceled, and he goes on this kind of whole tirade. So it's kind of like a show within a show, kind of like saying, "Hey, look at us, we're being canceled."
Yeah, because apparently
they kind of left out on they ended it on a commentary.
Yeah, they literally said that the writers and the animators were just so pissed off with how things were being done that they literally, it was a 2-part finale, and they ended it where like you see the actual house or like a house I guess they rented, and then like it's modern day and they don't even realize that they were people in a show. And then like they ended it with like the voice actors kind of like walking away like in the real world. And I kind of thought that was an odd way to do that. Ooh, Dave, look at that one. That's one we have to talk about.
What?
Bring up Damien's latest comment. What are your thoughts
on Dino Riders?
Dino Riders. That's on the next planned one. That's actually the number 2 show I put on the next.
Dino Riders, I remember, but do you also remember Dino Saucers?
Dino Saucers, greater. Dino Saucers, different show concept. Obviously, very different. For Dino Riders, I will again. The show being in the late 80s, early 90s, it was all about marketing, and it was marketing the toy to us. Dino Saucers, I don't remember any of the merchandise and ever being in store, but I love the cartoon.
No.
And
I mean, we could just do a Dino episode. We'll do Dino Riders, Dino Saucers, and then
Denver, the last
dinosaur.
dinosaur. That's how. Look at how well Dave and I know each other. That I could say that because I knew when he said dinosaurs, I had to put Denver, the last dinosaur, in there. You know, just because.
Huh.
But yeah, we are planning to do that. That'll be an episode we'll be doing later this year. But that is another one of these. And if you want to be on the show with us to give us your thoughts, let us know. So hit the next slide there, good sir. Cops. This
Fighting
one
crime in a future time.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say this. Cops is one of those shows that was very hokey and corny, but it was that acceptable level of corny because it was like G.I. Joe level corny and hokey. I know I'm gonna probably get hate for that. Come at me. I don't mind. My whole thing was I liked the concept of cops. And I have... So there is a rumor, and it's not an actual rumor. If you actually look at this, there are DVDs where they put what was the name of the guy handcuffed? The Long Arm? Yeah, Long Arm was the name
Long
of
Arm.
the guy. Yeah, Long Arm was not the main character.
No,
It was
a boy here.
it was our boy. He was the main character. But there are DVDs that they have made, modern day DVDs and Blu-rays, where they've put Long Arm as the
take a
main
look at this
character.
right here.
Yeah, that's
this.
And I actually heard that as I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it.
There you go, right?
Till
Like you got him in front when Bulletproof was the one calling all the shots.
Bulletproof was the leader of the team.
Yeah.
But Long Arm was the one with the weirdest. He had a handcuff on his arm. That's all. It was a grappling hook.
You know what it was? It was politically correct. Get over here. It was a police officer's version of Scorpion. And the thing was, it wasn't like that thing went super fast either. I mean, you could probably you can outrun that thing. I mean, the whole concept. I mean, like, I love the show. The toys looked amazing. Sadly, again, I didn't have any of those toys. But like Bulletproof, like he was the man. He was the man in the show. You know, he did rock the Jim Gordon trench coat, and his little curl in the center was always perfectly right there. I mean, he was badass. He was always calm. Where like, you know, Long Arm, he had if I remember correctly, he had some temper issues. You know, he loses cool a few times. We had the robotic dog.
Yeah, I forgot what their names were.
Yeah.
Was it Law and Order? No, that was G.I. Joe.
Let's see here. I'm going to see if I can pull it up on IMDb.
I forgot the names of a lot of. I just remember Long Arm and Bulletproof.
Yeah, Agent Baldwin P. Bulletproof. Let's see here. Brent. See here.
Rock Crusher.
Rock Crusher.
Berserko. He sounds like a villain.
Berserk. Buttons McBoom Boom, of course. Those
what
are
up,
some
Mario?
things.
Level 1 Ranger.
Officer Tina Mainframe. She was a cute little blondie right there. You had Nightshade. Let's see here. Misdemeanor, which I thought was just like the most hokiest name. Turbo Two-Tone.
Hold up for 1 second, Dave. Before you continue reading, read what Damien just posted. I think that's interesting.
Oh, sorry.
He said in the UK, we did rarely see Cops, but it wasn't screened more than the first 10 episodes. I have yet to watch the full series. So that's interesting because it was aired here and in Canada, the whole season, 165 episodes long. And I did not know it did not air. It said it had international markets. I never looked to see what those markets were. So it's kind of cool to hear your perspective. It's hokey. I will tell you that it ends kind of on like a boring note. It has like a PSA at the end of every episode, basically telling you not to be a douchebag. You know, don't steal.
Yeah, they did their little public service announcements. You know, like, a little bit more entertaining than He-Man. You know,
PJ Long Arm O'Malley. Jesus, what a name.
Highway.
Highway was cool. He was the cowboy.
Yes.
That I liked him. I liked him. He was the
Yeah,
cowboy.
big boss. Man.
Big Boss. I remember him. But yeah, folks, this was the hokiest of the shows, and when I wanted to see how it ended, go back, Dave, for the slide for a sec.
Yeah.
One of the things I was curious, I was like, well, did this like ever end? They said it just was I don't remember. Again, late 80s. I don't remember how the show ended. So apparently the show they said, I guess the cops caught Big Boss finally. He slipped up there and the cops got him. When I looked to see if there was any like GoFundMe's or because I do know like that correct me if I'm wrong, chat, not Ramen Toys, but somebody did remake a 1/12 scale Bulletproof. I do know that there's a company, I don't know if it was Ramen Toys, but some company did make a 1/12 scale version of him. And that kind of prompted me to be like, oh, well, if, because Brave Star got that treatment, which we're going to be covering that as well in another episode.
There you go.
Yeah, and who was it? Was it Ramen Toys?
Trying to see.
It looks like Big Bad Toy
Brand
Store.
was Cops and Crooks.
Cops and Crooks. But no, who was the company? Big Bad Workshop.
Brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Big Bad Workshop was the company. And we just actually talked about this the other night, last night actually, on Cultura Pop. We talked about this, how they're actually pretty good with what they've been putting out. Not everything, but, it might be something, if you are interested in, I would definitely grab it. That shout out to my homeboy and my brother Mario, level 1 Ranger. But sadly, there is no desire for them to do a reboot. I feel like a show like this screams reboot to me. I think that in a modern time, like I mean, not trying to be political, I think it'd be kind of cool to see these characters reprised in a more modern role and, done a little bit more adult theme, kind of like how Gargoyles was more of an adult themed cartoon.
Would you be down for a live action?
No, because that's like watching, like Fallout. I kind of would rather see this show done not with a lot of CG, but like done like as an animated cartoon, where I would actually have the characters, reprise their roles. Get somebody like Phil Lamar to voice Bulletproof. I think he does a great commanding presence. I would love to see different voice actors get these roles, but again, sadly, like a lot of these shows are just it feels like it's concepts more than it is the actual, how would you say it, Dave? It's like cool that they're going to remake the toys. And I remember one of the toys actually had a cap gun in it, like the RoboCop toys.
Yes.
So like you could actually snap it. It had like the snaps. So it would like make the gunshots effect. But again, it's Hasbro that designed this. You figure Hasbro had the IP. It would make sense. Like, hey, why wouldn't you want to reboot this? Not under like G.I. Joe Classified. Hell no. But like reboot the IP. Like, I mean, this is sequelitis time. Don't you agree with that, Dave? Everybody's getting a sequel of something.
I mean, literally, how many different movies are like coming back with like,
Scream 7, Scream 6, Scary Movies, like 25.
Bad Boys, you had Bad Boys 4, right?
Baseballs 2.
Super Troopers 3.
Super Troopers 3.
And guess what? They're going to be doing Weed Fest because remember they did Beer Fest. The same guys that did Super Troopers, they're back.
So I mean, and I love those shows. Don't get it twisted. The oh god, the
Club Dread.
Club Dread. They're hilarious. That comedy troupe. Absolutely love them.
That's actually the same crew.
But I know, and I love them. And they
got Tacoma. Was it FD? They got a whole slew of stuff.
They also worked on Reno 911.
Yep.
A lot of them. So it's I get it, but at the same time, like, you know,
Do you know what else I heard that is in talks? Burn Notice.
Burn Notice is in talks, and as of
that's as far as it is right now. It's just
they
talk.
looked at, supposedly it was what they wanted to get, and I feel he jinxed it, and I hope it's not who I heard it was going to be. They were looking at getting Stephen Amell.
No.
And I was like, no, please don't. Everything he touches.
He's doing Baywatch now.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he went to Baywatch. And I'm like, every series spinoff that he touches seems to not make it out of one season. I loved the Suits spinoff, Suits LA. Yeah. Granted, it felt a little dry on some of the action. I mean, he's an action star to me. He was Green Arrow, or the Arrow. And
you built the city.
Yeah, you failed the city. I mean, look, my nephew, my brother's son, Oliver, named after Green Arrow. So,
I'm a fan of Arrow.
I am as well. We watched the show.
No, but what I read was apparently everyone who was part of the original Burn Notice, they are open to it. They are welcoming it.
And Grimm, they just what was it? I know I sent you that video about Grimm.
Yeah,
where they actually had the whole cast together.
I love the show. I love the whole show. I love how they left that show open, but with Burn Notice, they gave it a happy ending. But they're saying that the way that they could bring it back, quite simply, is there's a lot of bad guys out there in the world, internationally speaking. For Michael and his team to come back, I'm like, I'd be open to it, but it all depends. I mean, that was like 2000. That was 2007. It is almost 20 years later. So. It's going to be interesting. I mean,
But Grimm's getting the same thing. Grimm's 17 years old. They already said it's 17 years since they did the last episode of Grimm. Did we really need a sequel for that? But they've already talked ideas and pitched ideas for that too. Several. They don't want to reinvent the wheel. There's no more original ideas, so they just are like, hey, these actors are still alive.
They brought Heroes back. Well, wasn't it like 8 or 10 years ago they brought Heroes back? I did not watch the reboots.
Heroes was a shell of what it was.
I love the original show.
Siler was amazing. The Save the Cheerleader, Save the World. That was the gimmick. And they ruined it by when they made the sequel series where it was about her kids.
And Drake, guess who was one of my favorite heroes on that show?
Siler, I bet.
No.
Nathan Petrelli.
Hero.
Oh, Hero? Yeah,
I mean, come on.
The son of George Takei. The son of George Takei. Come on.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that. But just let's address some of the stuff we see in the chat, because I did see some stuff. The old RoboCop toys did have that firing cap gimmick.
Yes, they did.
And I think they were besides them, the cops toys. And Mario's totally right. Yeah, we didn't need a second one. You are 100% correct.
Yeah, the second one where they had to go up to Canada, that was just terrible. It was terrible.
But again,
it was horrible.
As somebody who watched the Scary Movie, the latest one, I absolutely, I'm not gonna lie and say I watched it. I didn't enjoy it, and it was one of those things that I said, wow, this is a waste of time. This was a cash grab because people saw an opportunity with the sequelitis to make some money. So they did. So, again, at the end of the day, what gets people to want to watch these cartoons? Sadly, because I want to bring it back to this, these cartoons, the three that we've talked about so far, it's marketing. It was toys. Again, I've mentioned this on a lot of different shows. This show in particular, I've said it a lot too. The 80s was the time of catalogs. How many of y'all in the chat did you guys get a catalog if you were lucky to pick out one or two toys you wanted for Christmas?
Brand names.
And like it'd be like the Sears catalog, service merchandise, Caldors. That's how or Toys R Us would put out a catalog at Christmas, and Child World. And we would circle that one figure, like, oh, I'd love to have the Hiss tank, and maybe Santa would put it under the tree. That's what we believed when we were kids. Now as adults, it's if you brought cops back, yeah, Dave's maybe right. Maybe it could do better, but we have cops. What you gonna do? Granted, it's not the same premise, but
No.
there's not a lot you're gonna do at the end of the day. Where at least I don't see it. But who knows? And the reason why I kind of knew that one of these shows was getting a reboot and the other ones weren't was to have these discussions. Would you guys actually watch a reboot of Bionic 6 if you grew up with it or remembered it? Would you watch a Cops reboot? Hell, we know Cops is getting new toys, a 1/12 scale. Would you buy 1/12 scale half die cast Bionic 6 figures? Sign me up. I totally would.
Well, I mean, especially if you threw in like with more modern technology, you could have them lighting up.
Dude, imagine the companies
like doing fiber optics through the figures, like if you actually made it so like the fist hits the wrist and then you see like their whole body kind of illuminate. I mean, there's people out there who can make that stuff happen. We know Ramen Toys could do the van in like a minute. Snap your fingers and it's made.
Well, I don't know. They're kind of messed up with the mask stuff that's going on right now. So, we'll see when they fix their issues with QC. And I know a bunch of YouTubers that I know personally that actually will swear and live and die and have gotten mad at me for saying things like, "How dare you say Ramen Toys is terrible?" I'm sorry. I'm gonna call you out when I see something bad. I see it. I'm honest. I don't care if I'm not shilling anybody's stuff. If Ramen Toys ever wanted to send me something to review and I reviewed it and it was bad, I'd say it was bad. But I would tell them how to fix it to make it better. Argos and Woolworths. Woolworths was a thing
definitely here.
Was a thing here too, but it was very like small. Their toy section was like a handful. It was split. Like there was no boys and girls section.
I would get G.I. Joe figures from there.
Every now and then I'd find a G.I. Joe or a Ninja Turtle. And that was in the late 80s, early 90s. Yep. I never, Woolworths eventually went out of business in like the early 2000s, at least where I lived.
Yeah, because it was like an old style department store where you had like a cafe restaurant, kind of diner style built into the place.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a big thing.
Yeah, it was definitely, for us here, it was like Target, Kmart, Walmart, kind of eliminated that thing. But let's go on to the next one. And I want to address, Damien, what you also said too, that you said definitely 80, anything 80s I'm in. I think Dave and I would agree that too. I usually, but He-Man's that one exception to that rule because I don't feel it was for me. And I made that comment yesterday when we talked about the Motu movie after we got off the air with the Latin Legions crew. Shout out to my boys, Tats, TG, and the Latin Legions guys. Motu wasn't my thing. And I know Dave is a big Motu fan. And I say that it's almost like sacrilege. But Damien,
he's still my brother.
I still love him. UK Woolworths was big stores. Toys were amazing. So we had here FAO Schwartz. We had
Bless you.
What was it? We had FAO Schwartz. We had Woolworths, which wasn't really big, but they were there. You had Child World, KB Toys, Toys R Us. I would say Kmart because I didn't really see Roses. If you're down south, it was Roses. If it was, which is like Caldors. If you're up north, it was Caldors and Service Merchandise. If you were out in the Midwest, any of my Midwest fans here that love our show, Major is like that as well out there. I forgot the name of the one that was in California and the East Coast and the West Coast. There's a West Coast store as well.
We had Hills because Hills is where the toys are. That was their whole tagline. They were a department store like Kmart, but they had this whole thing with toys.
Well, Kmart was big down. I remember in New York, out in Long Island, Kmart was, and in Westchester County, where I lived in New York, Kmart was like the thing because they specialized in wrestling toys. Like anytime a new wrestling or superhero like DC, which we would know, what we know is DC or Marvel now, but like anytime like a Spider-Man thing came out or Marvel thing came out, you could go there and you'd find it. And they had like some sort of deal where a lot of wrestlers like WWF at the time, WWE, WCW would come through there and you'd get to find like wrestling rings and stuff like that. That was then. What did Mario say? What did Level 1 Ranger bring back? The turtle toys where you had to break them out of the plastic.
Well, they've had a lot of those retro card backs. Like I bought a bunch of stuff. Like you can still find the Technodrome in some places. They have like there's a whole GI Joe crossover with Playmates right now, where you can get like GI Joe versions of the Ninja Turtles right now. I have not just NECA, but I do have like, was it 2 years ago they came out with the Turtle Van and the original figures how they used to be, and I grabbed those.
So Dave, just so you know, Level 1 Ranger, I know him personally. He's not a toy collector. Okay. So that's why I know him personally. He's not like us in that regard. He likes those things because he's been to my house before and he saw what I have. But as far as what he wouldn't have known that the turtle toys were brought back. Okay. So they did do a re-release through Walmart. Target, I've not seen them, but you can get them at Walmart.
Yeah, Target has them too.
And I know you live in Ohio, Mario, so you can go in Ohio and find the retro toys, which will be at modern retail anywhere from $10 to like $15.
Depending on where you are in Ohio, you can look up. There's a place called Big Fun where they actually do like they will buy and sell vintage toys as well in collections. So you might, depending on where you are, like if you're around like Columbus or somewhere near there, you might be able to check out. Just look up Big Fun, because I have family in Ohio, and we would go to There used to be a Big Fun in like Cleveland Heights area, Cleveland, but I think they moved to Columbus. So depending on where you are, you might be able to find some stuff there.
And there's also Toy Department, which is growing as well. Toy Department is one of the big, and they do vintage and modern, and they do buy stuff too. So if you want to get my nephew some Ninja Turtle toys, or if I have to get them that for Christmas, let me know, because I will gladly send my nephew some. They're little enough that they need to get broken into this toy biz, the toy market, and I have to do that. Although they're going to charge an arm and a leg because that's the price of just doing business.
Oh yeah, nowadays. No doubt.
So like with the toys that our parents used to pay $4.99 for is now about $12.99.
GI Joes were under $4.
GI Joes used to be $3. They used to be $3. Now
I remember getting Pathfinder at Woolworths. It was like maybe $4 or $5 at most.
Sci-Fi.
He had a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Psych Out. I remember getting him at Toys R Us, $2.97. $2.97.
And those are the 3 3/4.
Yep. And now you want to get you get a GI Joe Classified 6-inch with half the accessories, and you get it for $24.99 or $26.99, or
if you're
Marvel
lucky.
Legend $29.99. So it's you're breaking the bank nowadays to get a good toy. But let's actually hit something interesting, which was I had one figure, which was the lead character, which is the Pirates of Dark Water, which if you did not watch this cartoon, I remember watching this when I was in college. I was coming out of high school, and I didn't see I remember watching this very, very quickly on Cartoon Network. That's where I remember watching it. I don't remember watching it anywhere else.
Now, was this the same studio that did Sectars?
I didn't dig that deep, but okay. So I went a different route.
Because the animation style, that's where my head is at, is the animation style here, the art.
So apparently this was Hanna-Barbera was trying to make its like return to cartoons, and it was trying to do like back to what its edgy kind of I don't want to say like space opera style cartoons, but
like Thundar the Barbarian,
like Thundar the Barbarian, and like the Herculoid, Space Ghost. You know, those were like kind of in that vein at the time of that space opera, where you go to different planets and you would see these things. And the Pirates of Dark Water was a planet that was pretty much like islands scattered across a planet that was just covered completely in water.
Just all ocean.
It was all ocean. So pirates, and they lived on the boats, but they had very limited land. And apparently the concept was that black ooze that you could see in the bottom picture beneath what Dave just clicked on, this black ooze was devouring life.
Yeah.
Anything that was alive would get eaten by this. Now the
Your
main
dark
character,
water.
yeah. So the hero Ren was supposedly descendant of a group of people that were the ones that could fight back this plague, and Ren's sword was like the one weapon that can dispel this evil magic.
Sword of Grayskull. I have Thundera.
Exactly.
You know, it was, you know, you had the sword. You know.
Now with this, you had, what was cool about this show was it kind of followed the Thundar the Barbarian, kind of like you had Ukla the Mock and Thundar. You know, he was like, oh, I didn't really talk, but he was the kind of like the fighter character. And in this one, you had oh god, why can't I remember his name? I remember what he used to say though, Noijitat. That was his phrase. And he was the pirate, the one on the far right, the one with the scimitar. He was my absolute favorite character on the entire show because he was like Jack Sparrow, but like to the nth level. Like, he wasn't a jerk, but he could fight, and he always cared about the treasure, but he always wanted to make sure his crew was safe. So very cool. For whatever reason, his name escapes me. Then you had the princess, who was kind of like a thief herself. Like, she was like kind of like a weird, like, and mind you, I played D&D, so this is like, I have a little D&D on the brain. She was like a seer / rogue. Like, she could see things, and like she knew about things, and she was also kind of a little bit like sneaky. And marketed, they had everything. They had the ship, they had the characters, they had video games. I remember seeing the Super Nintendo game. I never got it. It was by Sunsoft. I never had it. And apparently in Japan, you could find this game, and it's very expensive.
There's your ship right there.
Yep. I remember I never had this. I only had Ren. He was the only character I had. And the monkey bird. That was the name of what they called them, the monkey bird.
Hey. There you go.
Yeah, but these were the action figures. I had the monkey bird and Ren.
They had great art for the card backs.
Oh yeah, they were full art card backs. I mean, blister cards were for the non-initiated into toy collecting. This definitely was a blister card. You would have gotten with a limited amount of these. I think were 5 POA, very limited, like the old school Thundercats figures. So you can see Ren. Look, it's definitely 5 POA. You moved your legs back and forth, head turned, and the arms moved. That boat was huge, though. I do remember a friend of mine having the boat. I remember seeing it at his house. But, like, if those are concepts for making 1/12 scale, please make them. I would buy these toys. They look so cool. Like, these are renderings, obviously. Yes. And the green thing that he's holding was a compass that used to take them around the world to find more, because he had to bring these artifacts together to basically dispel all of the dark water. Now, why did this get canceled? Because it got canceled. Money. They said that it was split between 2 studios. So a studio overseas in Japan was working on this, as well as in America. And this was they thought it was supposed to be originally cost effective to do it that way. It was not. It actually caused a lot of delays. That's why we ended up having the miniseries that was aired on television. Then they actually did a television series. And then they did like the comic books. Marvel had I think a 5-run or 6-run comic book series. And then they did the toy line and the video game.
Dre, you'll appreciate the voice cast here. Hector Elizondo,
Yep, I
Frank
remember.
Welker, George Newbern, who was our Superman animated series, was Ren.
Oh yeah,
Tim,
Ios. That was the
Tim
name of the
Curry.
pirate I
Yep.
liked. Ios.
Yep. You had Tim Curry on here. You had
Yep.
Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime himself. I mean, you had a lot. Jim
Jim
Cummings.
Cummings, freaking Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, he just everything, man. I mean, so I mean, we had some heavy hitters on the show,
Wow.
some great actors back then.
And just so y'all realize, Tim Curry was in several cartoons during the 80s and 90s.
He was the original Joker, and no disrespect, I'm glad they passed on him and went with Mark Hamill.
No, but they did a lot. Hold on, let's
Oh
see
yeah,
what did yeah, very much like, let's go look at the chat real quick before we continue forward. So Damien said that the animation was beautiful. It was definitely ahead of its time. Very much
Yeah.
like Aladdin. It was set in a world that was supposed to be from what I can interpret it.
Sloth the baddie.
Sloth the baddie. What? And Dave, you could correct me if I'm wrong. And well, this is kind of opinion. Would you say that this was kind of done to be like in a sense, like kind of like the stories of the Arabian Nights? Like it was kind of set in a world that was very themed to being.
It was like trying to do like imagine like a Conan type world adapted to like Sinbad and
Sinbad. That's what I was thinking. So it's like very Arabic,
Yeah.
but the tone. See, like, and for those of you that are not learned in this, and I don't expect everybody to know this, Hyboria is is the planet that Conan takes on. It's not Earth. It's Hyboria. Hyboria is a whole concept with the Egyptian gods. It's a very deep lore. This was kind of the same concept, that it was like the world that they were on was was 90% like water, and they would travel in the boats. The pirates obviously controlled it, but apparently there was this great society similar to Atlantis that that was trying to be found. And there was, I think, 24 or 12 artifacts. I can't remember exactly what it was, but that's what they had said. What was it? They rebooted the cartoon reboot. What were you talking about, Mario? Can you type that in there and tell us what the reboot of a reboot? They rebooted the cartoon reboot. Did either of you catch it, and was it good? For what? Pirates of Darkwater? They've never rebooted anything. With all the research I found, there was never a single reboot of Pirates. Malice, Captain Planet, yeah. That's hilarious when you think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, Reboot. He's talking about Reboot the cartoon.
Oh, Canadian. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Reboot. That's old school. That's a credit. And let's not look it up. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. We gotta save something for people. We gotta save it. Reboot the cartoon was a Canadian. That was a Canadian thing that was in that animation.
It was made by Mainframe, that also made Beast Wars, but for Transformers
and Beast Machines.
They made a few. Yeah. Well, that was a whole. It was.
That was the. Yeah, that was also the not spiritual successor, but like everybody hated Beast Machines because it was like not technically canon, but now is canon.
I know of the reboot that he's talking about. They did. It was like a live action thing. Think like Super Samurai Cyber Squad, kind of like where it was like you had live action, and then they went into like the digital world. If I remember it, it was kind of almost Tron like. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't
remember. Me if I'm wrong. Because I think it was.
Yeah, you stumped me.
I think it was.
If you're watching, they got me stumped, bro.
It might have been Hulu, or it might have been Amazon. It might have been one of those two.
Yeah,
because let's be honest, a lot of the reboots that we have or the revivals, they're pretty much driven by the streaming services. Who, because the previous show does well on their streaming service,
Netflix.
Like, hey, let's just milk it to death.
So it was done on Netflix. It was a 20-episode show, hybrid live-action CGI animated teen sci-fi drama set and created by Michael Heffron. is the reimagining of the 1994 show done in 2018 September.
There you go.
So I don't even remember it, to be very frank.
We stumped Dre. We got to mark the calendar.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look at that. Tats, if you're watching, holy shit, I got stumped. That is a rarity to stump me on something that like I have not seen. It's a rarity. I've watched a lot of shit. Apparently, I did not watch this.
And here's the thing. Dre didn't know about it because it didn't last that long.
Exactly. Like, think of it this way. There were cartoons or TV shows that did not make it out of like the first 3 episodes that I remember vividly. And this could be the ADHD that I am undiagnosed with. I don't know. I'm gonna say that
No.
if it was something that I remembered 3 episodes of, yes. So did I see Dreamstone, the Dreamstone cartoon from the 90s? I remember the show. I don't remember watching it because if it was in 1990, I don't remember watching it because
I don't think I ever heard of that one before, so I can't speak to that.
It was not something that was widely aired. It was sort of like, remember Captain Nemo, the Dream Traveler, the cartoon that was like, it was all anime style. It was in that vein of shows in that time period. It was like really small, like not like Captain and the Video Game Master, which is another show I would love to see them redo.
Dude, you know I 3D printed and I did the cosplay for that, right?
I know you did. It was, for you guys. Oh, God, I do remember this cartoon. And it was, wow, it was actually an ITV. So they actually you guys got it overseas. So this show was, if it came here to the US, I think I might have caught it like on cable, but I was also in high school and I just started like talking to girls, so I kind of sadly got away from
discovered girls at that time. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, guys, a lot of that stuff kind of got put away to the side when I wanted to go to acting classes and talk.
That's what she said.
Giggity giggity goo. But yeah, Dave did the zapper. I remember him doing that. He had the jacket and everything, folks.
There you go.
You see? Captain N, the Video Game Master. So, sadly, only one show out of this is getting considered and is pretty much in development. Also, we'll probably never get it.
Hey, who knows? Somebody could be doom scrolling. They could be a big studio executive. They could doom scroll like, hey, look at these 2 guys in glasses. And hey,
talking about this.
Cops. Hey, let's, what?
Yeah, Hasbro, let's go look. Hasbro's right now, they're in so much shit with their IPs. I bet you it's not even something that they would even talk about. I could see them doing like Bionic 6 or some shit like that.
I would love to, I mean, in this day of inclusion, and the so-called wokeness out there in society, say what you will.
Okay, I'm going to get on my high horse now. Can I get my high horse now?
Trigger, go right ahead.
You triggered me. I have to say it. All right, so for the idiots that use the term woke incorrectly, because I'm so sick and tired of these people that
with this.
Yes, he did, and I love Dave, but I have to talk about it because it's like in me when somebody keeps using it, like the hero's journey. Dave knows how much of a rant I went on with him on the phone with this when we had these idiots that were like, "Oh, I'm going to talk about the hero's journey." No, and they talked about it completely backwards. When you talk about woke obviously is a concept that is to be awoken to seeing past what's not what you thought was not seen. You're awake now. You are now seeing things for what they truly are. And that's what woke was. It was a term of being aware and being mindful and being understanding and keeping people awoke. I will even bring this to a nerdy level. Mage the Ascension, Magic the Ascension, or Mage the Ascension, Vampire the Masquerade, and Werewolf use this concept of woke because they said people were woke that were not magic users, or the magic users, and the unawoken were people that could not use magic, could not see devils, demons, werewolves, vampires. And I always looked at that growing up and said, wow, that's a great understanding. And then I get older and understand woke really is like that. There's people that just are not able to see things, maybe willfully, willful ignorance.
Matrix.
Matrix is the perfect example of woke. Thank you, Dave. Beautiful, my brother. Beautiful. But that's 1000% what I have to say about woke, and I just hate when people say it incorrectly. But it's not Dave's not saying it; he's actually saying it correctly. No. He's actually saying, but in this day and age,
everyone who hates on modern Star Trek, they love to use that term. That and anyone who's harping or they're trying to dig on modern day sci-fi is a perfect example of
Star Trek was never woke. That's what they all say. But Uhura had the first interracial kiss on television ever.
I mean, Star Trek. I mean, they Gene Roddenberry, when he wrote the original series, he put in so many social and political themes that people just didn't see it. Unless they watched it and they were big fans like me and Trey, they never really saw it. I mean, it's been there for years, but it's a thing. But
Boss Fight, I can see Boss Fight and Nacelle buying these. I'm surprised Boss Fight didn't buy Braveheart, but those are things that we didn't cover today. So when we do cover that, for the IPs I've seen, I could see them doing it. Nacelle maybe too, because they're very big on the love of 80s. I've seen them being interviewed on people's channels, and look at all the reaction figures that they've done, like the little small scales. I mean, they've done Aliens, Jaws, I mean, just anything you could think of from the 70s and 80s. They've been doing on those. There's a bunch of Alien ones. I mean, who knows? My thing is, I would love to see them do very much like G.I. Joe has done. They kind of updated and given us the accessories that we really want for those figures. For the most part.
For the most part, yes. I would love to see proper. I mean, since Level 1 Ranger was bringing about reboots.
Turtles. Oh yeah, a reboot.
I mean, could you imagine if they actually gave us proper figures like Enzo and just give us all the
Bob the Guardian looked cool for the time. I mean, because I remember seeing those in Targets and Walmarts.
Oh yeah.
Back when I was younger, I do remember seeing those, and would I like to see those? I mean, I'll keep it a buck.
Cops, I think, would be good.
Cops would be perfect right now.
But the problem is, it's niche.
Oh yeah.
I hate to say that, but Dre knows I am the example of niche. I am a Ghostbuster fan, and that is very niche.
Wait, you're gonna say your niche? I beat your niche. I like a show in another language from another country that has a limited reach of people that watch it. Ghostbusters was international. This just got international, even though it's been around for 50 years.
Ghostbuster had the cartoon, which unfortunately does not look like the movie. It had two movies that just vanished.
Real Ghostbusters or the Ghost? See, your boy knows. I know my shit. I could stand on that thing with you. Which cartoon are we talking about?
Filmation.
I know the Filmation. What they did.
Yeah, but technically, the Filmation's content preceded the real Ghostbusters, so it's a thing.
I know. And then you have the other one.
That's a whole other episode right there.
Oh yeah. And that has been something Dave and I have been talking about, because I know we would want to bring more people on that actually know. Because I don't consider myself learned in that Ghostbusters.
I will not be triggered. I'm sorry, I will not.
Oh no, we can't. I've done this, and it is hilarious because when you're not learned and you don't know the thing as well as the other person, Dave sent me links, and I became very quick learned and educated. Much like he became quick and learned.
There you go. He knows. He knows.
Oh yeah.
He knows. I mean, yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. I'll say this: a lot of people in the Ghostbusters community were not fans of the Filmation cartoon. I enjoyed both cartoons.
I did too. The toys were great.
You can't just stand on one side of the street. You have to appreciate. Sample everything, man. Have a great time with it. And it was just a weird, hokey cartoon. It was made by the same people who made He-Man, Masters of the Universe, who did those cartoons. So I mean, they had that kind of, and they borrowed a lot of the same voices.
Oh yeah,
a lot of the same voices.
Would you consider it like
the voice of Skeletor?
Well,
yeah,
Would it be like
Yeah,
the Scooby Doo of Ghostbusters? Like it was more of a
definitely.
comedic take.
Yeah, because I mean, like in Spook Central, in their headquarters, you had the telephone was a possessed item that would talk, and it would say like the rudest things to the people calling them. The car was alive, and
Yep.
it would talk back to the Ghostbusters. Like everything there was kind of like possessed and everything. And when they would transform, they had to go into this big, like skeleton type closet, which was like an alternate dimension where they had to suit
Mhm.
up. The one guy was like he would just perfectly suit up, and the other guy you see him in his little boxers with the little hearts on it, and he's
I
covering
remember.
himself up. It was meant to be fun. It was entertaining. It was,
And
for what
Mondo
it, it had to do with time travel, which
and
was really
isn't
weird.
isn't Mondo also I've seen the test images for this,
I
not
have not seen
AI.
anything. I have not seen anything for that IP of Ghostbusters.
So I saw it. I don't know if it was AI, and I will have to go look through my sources just to triple check that. Because you know us, David, I don't like putting the slop out there if it's not real. But I remember seeing some company talk about it, and I thought it was Mondo putting out like an actual display of the Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters toys, and they showed that they were looking to do like 1/12 scales of those characters from that IP. So, oh, interesting. So, Dave, check this out. Damien said that again. To be honest, we only had the comics here in the UK, but if you went over to France,
Okay.
Spain, the show and toys were very popular. Not here, sadly. Not in his country, not in England. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, with the
Germany seems to be a
toys,
hotbed too. For anybody that lives overseas, I'd love to hear about that.
if anyone out there who is an actual avid toy collector, and especially if you're a fan of the Filmation Ghostbusters, you want to check out. There's a podcast on YouTube called Yes Have Some. They do a lot of toy collecting. The main host on there, Craig Goldberg, he actually has a very sacred item, which is a 100% complete headquarters from Filmation's Ghostbusters, which is harder to find than anything else. Like it is a white whale, so to speak.
The
When it comes
Grail.
to it is definitely a grail piece. Let me just pull this up here. So like some of the characters, like they had this. It was like a space cop from the future. Was like their like female.
Did hair.
Yeah, the hair was wild. Uh, these were some of the
That's
filmations. Like
nuts.
you had a skeleton that was like C-3PO.
I remember that. I remember
You
the
know,
character.
we had you had like there was a rat. There was like this talking hacking little rat right here.
Yep, I remember him too.
Yep.
Man, I remember
So
all that stuff.
like here's the headquarters, which is just like a weird kind of kooky,
Is that
almost
85?
Beetlejuice. Yeah, 86,
Oh,
1986.
86. Wow.
Yeah, because ironically, that cartoon came out the same time as Real Ghostbusters, like a week apart from each other. You had the car,
Yep, that car was dope.
you had Tracy, and the funny thing was you had Tracy the monkey, but then you also had a guy named Kong.
So he says interesting. Same to you guys. Check out Filmation Ghostbusters Superfan and his channel, Mr. Allen in the World of Toys.
Very cool.
I will definitely. I don't always watch toy tubers, but when I see things like this, it does send me down that rabbit hole. So I will check them out because some of this stuff was just
You had Haunter,
alien.
Hysteria. Of course, the future cop was called Futura. Yeah, they had a whole lot of alliteration there.
I had Jake's character. I had that toy. I did have Jake's toy.
Here you go, Belfry and Bradarat.
I remember those. I couldn't pronounce them when I was a kid, and my mom was like, "It's Belfry. It's a
Yeah,
because that's where bats
Bradarat-
would hang."
Bradarat, he sounded a lot like Muttley from Hanna-Barbera. You know, he that little hacking kind of like wheezing. Yeah.
I miss those.
They were definitely some very interesting. Like Primeval was, he was actually voiced by the same guy who voiced Skeletor.
What? It's a cool villain look too.
Yeah.
Looks like a freaking lich. Look at that.
I mean, he was
That
like
is
Phantom
dope.
of the Opera in like Mumra.
A Dark Wizard. Look at that. Prime. What a name too. Prime Evil. He's based in Italy, and attracts some great guests from World of Toys. I apparently a lot of YouTubers when they've gone overseas have found a lot of gems like these hidden in like stores that were people like that have gone either from military bases or when they were selling toys over there. So again, we're not a toy channel per se, but this is the marketing of this time was, you know,
Oh,
you
definitely.
sold the cartoon to get to get people to buy the toys. But I guess in short, this episode was kind of more fun than I expected because we ended up talking more about the merchandise side of it than the actual cartoon because sadly
Yeah,
these cartoons are so old. There's not
yeah,
a lot
but
of ways to
yeah,
find them
but
nowadays.
that I think that's the only way we could have, because back in the '80s, a lot of these cartoons were half-hour commercials for the toys. I mean, that's
Hmm.
like Masters of the Universe is a perfect example. It
Thundercats,
was it
GI
was about
Joe.
selling the toys, and they just said, "Hey, well, let's serialize it. Let's make it a little bit more entertaining." So like the kids are watching it, and they get involved in these characters. Like Dre and I read comic books as kids. You know,
Mhm.
we were both Spider-Man fans, and
Big time.
it wasn't necessarily from the cartoons; it was from the comics. You know, I mean, the same thing can be said for Batman and a lot of the DC properties out there. You know,
I would even go back and start saying, like, if you guys really want to talk about cartoons that grew up in that era of what they were marketing to, you had Transformers, Thundercats, He
yeah,
Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja
Transformers, which was Diaclone, technically
Turtles. Yeah,
the original was
but
Diaclone.
if you really want to say where it ended was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That would have been the tail end of that era where toys were being marketed through cartoons because Eastman and Laird were
Yeah,
both comic book artists that took their IP into the world of comic books and brought it to life through animation
yeah.
and were able through several iterations of their cartoon tell their stories and do some
And
really cool
those, it,
stuff.
I mean, it took off and developed several lives of its own. I mean, it's.
It
I mean,
broke the
let's be
fourth
honest.
wall in one of its episodes in the Nicktoons one.
Well,
We
I
had the
mean, well,
Nicktoons turtles, the Eastman Laird turtles, and then the cartoon turtles all meet up.
I had the digital one. There's like 4 or 5 different sets of turtles that actually wind up on there. But I mean, like, if you really think about it, I mean, like, it was a comic book, and then it developed, and then we had live action movies. We had a very badly done Haim Saban TV show that was live action where they crossed over with Power Rangers. It was
Oh
not
Lord.
done as well. That Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation. You probably remember it very badly.
Oh, I do. I do.
Yeah. So I
But
mean, like, it's they all take on their own lives. I mean, but Dre, what do
yes,
we
sir.
have coming up on the next episode
So
of the
our
Outer
next
Dimension
episode,
podcast?
we're going to be taking a break because Dave has got some stuff he's doing next weekend. So we are taking a break next week. We are going to be back together on the 29th. And the 29th is going to be something Dave and I actually have talked about. I will never forget when I made a joke about this to Dave. He got really mad at me saying, like, how dare you say this? It is the musicals episode. We have been asked by many of you to do this because I love musicals and so does Dave. And Dave is, you guys all know Dave used to be a DJ. And it's something that when I made the joke, I said, oh, you don't like musicals. He's like, how dare you say that to me? I love music. I was a DJ. So we're going to do the episode about musicals. So we're going to pick our favorites. We're gonna do what we haven't done in a while, a list episode. And we're going to
Well,
go down from our top 3 to an honorable mention.
yeah. So we'll have to pick. We have to decide. Do we want to pick what we think are the best musicals, or do we want to do more mainstream stuff? Because a certain musical, which I think definitely deserves to be appreciated, is celebrating its anniversary this year.
Wait. Hold
Do
on.
you know what I'm talking about, Dre?
Not yet. I want to see. He says, great streaming topics. Thank you, Damien. Mario, if we have to sing it,
Yeah.
I'll totally do it. Don't play. Don't play. I will totally. I'll be me. We will sing it. My
I will
DM
turn my
sang today.
speakers off.
Dave will turn his headphones off that episode. But I do not know, Dave, who is the
Rent.
Oh yeah, Rent. I forgot that it was Rent.
It's their anniversary this year. In fact, some of them are going on tour to actually redo the song, like to bring the songs
Is
out.
Enter the Fat One doing anything for Rent?
No, he was not part. Well, no.
Yes,
This
he
is like
was.
the original. This is the original cast.
Okay,
The
because
original
Joey
cast.
Fatone came on. I was living in New York when he was when he actually. My mom went to go
Yeah.
see him when Fatone was there.
Sadly, what's his name? Jesse L. Martin is not on the tour though, because he was a part of that as well. I mean, it's a very powerful musical out
So
there.
so
It doesn't get as
musicals.
much love as it should though.
So when I okay, so I'll classify this. Musicals would be we'd be talking about things that were either translated into movies because I think that'll be easier for our guests to and this will kind of encompass like Disney films because I actually argued today with some of the players that my fellow players we argued like Disney like Aladdin, Little Mermaid, those are musicals because we grew up with them and they had songs, you know.
We, we might
Lion
have to do an
King.
episode. We might have to do an episode that says, Disney, why are you remaking
I
all
know
your
why.
animated classics? Because was it Tangled is now being
Yep,
made?
Rapunzel Day 2028. We get a live action Rapunzel. So, but the musicals episode will be there on the 29th. So that's what you guys will be seeing us do, and we're going to be talking about them. I think we'll to narrow it for people that you guys can participate with us because we always love people chiming in the chat like y'all we're doing today. Your favorite musicals. It may not be for everybody, but we all love music, and I love musicals. I grew up loving them. My mom used to sing in the house all the time. My daughter has been in them.
Problem is,
So
there's a lot of great musicals because since Dre and I are the same age, I mean, there's been a lot of great stuff from the '70s and well, hell, all of the 19, or it's like the young ones are saying the late 1900s to make us
I
sound
know,
old.
God, they make us sound so old.
I mean, you got great stuff like Oliver and Company.
You went there. I'm thinking like Little Shop of Horrors.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
thinking
Little Shop with Rick
with Rick
Moranis.
Moranis. You got
Steve Martin has a
Annie.
small bit part in there.
Annie. I mean that is a classic right there. The Sound of Music from the 50s and 60s. I mean, you
Greatest
got
Showman,
Greatest Showman.
Moulin
Les
Rouge,
Mis.
Phantom of the Opera. I mean,
If you want to go newer, In the Heights, Hamilton. I mean, I Wicked, Rent, Saturday Night Fever, Grease. Folks, we've seen a lot of them, and we will be mentioning them on our list. Which, like I said, we haven't done a list episode in a long time.
How about this? We will do a non. How about we do non-Disney? We could do Disney music because Disney's got some. I mean, they made the musical.
What was it? The camp the camp ones. I haven't watched any of those. Lana has. I can actually get my
Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages.
That's a good one.
Descendants. That's actually a musical series.
I have 3D printed stuff for people that was themed this in Descendants, but I've never seen them. I know of it. I just never watched it.
Lana, when I first came into Lana's life 8 years ago now, she was still little, and we were into the Descendants at that time. So my wife was so not into it, so I would watch it with her, and I was like, I was like, this is kind of good. So yeah, we're doing a musicals episode. That's going to be on the 29th and this month, and then we will be back on the 12th of September for what hasn't happened in a long time, and I'm actually working with Tats to come on to do a Toku Talks. We have not done Toku Talks, and I know you guys love our Sentai Power Ranger stuff. I'm going to be working on those two things next. But Dave, you always like to be asked, what are you doing this coming week? And then we can go into what I'm doing. So what are you doing this coming week?
Well, I am not too sure if I'm doing a stream this week.
I know because
maybe later in the week. Because I've been bringing back the Dimension downloads on Tuesday nights. This past week, we actually did Spider-Man build for blockies. I still have a crap ton of blockies I still need to build. But I don't know if we're going to be doing it this week because I'm still a little bit under the weather, so I might just take the week to heal up. I still have to edit a few things, like the ride for Roswell. So I still have to edit that, so I might be dropping that later this week. But right now, I have nothing to do but to get better.
Yes, that's what you
Health-wise.
need to do. So I feel like this week and last week or next week, I'm going to be having a lot because you guys are going to be seeing weekly content. So you guys probably saw me drop these very first episode I dropped last week was Breaking the Ice with Level 1 Ranger. That was a great, fun episode. A lot of y'all saw this week, which was the first official episode of the Father Figures podcast for this season. And it was just kind of reintroducing my content to you guys. Next week's episode that will be dropping Friday at noon will be the Breaking the Ice with True Starscreamer. And that's going to air on my channel. But then on Saturday, August 22nd, we are going to be having Cultura Pop episode 3. And it's going to be True Starscreamer hanging out with me and Tats. And we're going to start talking some Sentai because we are 3 avid fans of it and Tokusatsu. So we picked a couple of shows that we really like that we're going to talk about. And that's going to be on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So tune in for that. And that'll be on Tats and Toys YouTube channel as well as streamed on my YouTube channel, Dre the Geek Dad. So you'll be seeing new content from me every Friday at noon. That's when you'll be seeing the episodes drop. And then on Saturday, August 22nd, we will be doing that Toku episode. And then that is pretty much what's happening. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break because I know people are getting kids ready to go back to school, especially my house. My wife will be going back to work. My teenager's going to school. Spooky season. And we got some cool stuff planned on all 3 channels to be doing some cool stuff for that. And I will mention this. I mentioned it briefly yesterday, and I mentioned a little while ago when we first started. We are looking to do a mental health episode. Neither one of us and anybody that's going to be on with us are not mental health trained professionals, but we do know that when the holidays come up, you get that seasonal depression. A lot of people feel like they may not have any family or friends.
And sometimes it doesn't even have to be the holidays. I mean, it could be any day of the week. It just suddenly could just come out of nowhere and hit you like it's nobody's business. So
we're going to be doing that, and we're planning, as I decided yesterday, to kind of avoid the holidays and to kind of keep it in line with a lot of people's schedules. Post Legions Con, which is early November, and it would be already outside of Halloween. So it'll probably be the second week of November, what we're shooting for that weekend. I'm going to try to align a lot of schedules because I've got about 8 people that would like to come on. And it may be a rotating group of people, but Dave and I are going to be co-hosting this with 2 other hosts, which are two of our very good friends, 2 of the people that I work with on Cultura Pop and with Financial Mistakes on Tats and Toys channel. So be expected to be seeing the 4 of us get together and bring some amazing people from Latin Legions and other places around the internet, and just you guys. If you guys want to come and share anything you guys and gals are going through, feel free. We will post the link, but we will ask you guys to be respectful because this is very personal stuff that people are going to be sharing.
You just need to let Tats and Toys know he's not winning any prizes this time.
The prize is, like I said, the last time the prize is friendship. Is a lot. That's how Dave and I met, and we've been best friends ever since. So
the little joke there is we did Stream for the Cure this year, and Tats and Toys won several prizes on that stream.
I love you, Tats, but damn, you did win a lot of cool shit. So again, that's what we have planned. What I have planned here. Be able to tune in on the 29th. We'll be posting all over our socials. I will be posting on my socials as well as Dave will be posting on his. Tune in for everything because we have a lot of great content. Shout out to the Latin Legions crew. They just had they had kind of a hangout episode today with just them kind of like talking. I caught the replay on the drive home. So shout out to my boys over there. You guys are amazing. But that's kind of it. I appreciate y'all for sitting with us. A little bit longer pod than usual today, but I just want to say thank you for hanging out with Dave and I.
We're under 2 hours, and we started about 20 after 9, so it's not too bad.
True. But usually,
And we kind of went a little bit faster, but we covered a little bit more content than we
I
planned.
think
So.
and that was kind of methodically chosen like that. I felt like sometimes you got to leave a little meat on the bone, so to speak. But again, we both thank you for coming with us for this ride, and tune in on the 29th. Sadly, next Sunday we will not have an episode. Dave and I will be taking a break till the 29th. So tune into us in 2 weeks from today, and we will be back.
2 episodes a month because we're not doing every single week. We got to have some family time.
And we will be taking the end of our season. Dave and I did decide this season will end for the Outer Dimensions on, I think we're going to try to do it on December the 19th if nothing is planned, because that will be our official review of Avengers Doomsday. Either it will be a pre-record or we will go live. That is something yet to be seen with Dave and my schedule, because that is right at Christmas and we have a lot of stuff going on in both our family houses. But that is something that we wanted to do for y'all, especially with my anniversary to my wife being on Doomsday itself, the 18th. So
now, what he's saying is that just happens to be the same date as his anniversary.
Yes.
Not saying that his wife is.
Even though my wife made a very good.
If he gets out of hand, that she might have words with him, but that's a whole other thing.
So the funny thing is, and we could end on this. My wife made a joke about it. I said, "Hey, babe, Avengers Doomsday comes out on our anniversary," and she says, "Oh, that's apropos. It's Doomsday." And she just gave me this look, and I was like, "I love you too. Like, should I be scared?" And she's like, "I don't know. Is it scary?" And I was like, "Shit, man, she's been there with me too long that she can borrow some of my faces." So shout out to my lovely wife, because that was really funny that she said it like that. But I think, Dave, we're going to call it here. So thank y'all for coming through. We love the activity from TG, from Damien, from Rogue, to freaking Level 1 Ranger, the Tats, to freaking Ultra Cart coming through and being, leaving a message. But hey, it's how it be sometimes. We love you guys. And Dave?
Guys, what we say every single time. Dre, you got it. Come on.
Watch your head as we exit the portal.
And guys, keep on busting, because we will always catch you on the flip side. Take care, guys.
Peace, y'all.
Dre and Dave hit it hard in the dark, spinning tales from the void, never bark. Movie shows, they tear apart. Dimensions clash, they ignite the spark.